All right, welcome to Dual Redundancy, the only podcast where you can hear all latest in television and entertainment news with two millennials with exactly the same opinions. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen, and another one is
John Berwick, and the third one is
Kyle Bridger. I would say that I am the Stranger Things to John's Top Gun to Dave's Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi.
All right, I'll get my lightsaber out. Yes, we are talking about all three of those things tonight. It was a big pop culture weekend. So much stuff dropped. We were off last week. We have so much to talk about, including everything you just mentioned, plus some quick checks of some season finales, mid-season finales, another movie. There is so much to get to tonight. We got to just jump into the show. But I don't remember the first segment though. John, what is it?
in and out points.
In oder out. In oder out. In, out.
Yes, it is in and out points. We are going to start off with a report from the Hollywood Reporter. Marvel has signed a 20-year deal with the Stan Lee universe to license the name and likeness of Stan Lee, who died in 2018, for use in future feature films, TV productions, Disney theme parks, and merchandising. All right, 20 more years of Stan Lee. Kyle, you excited about this?
I mean, they got to do it, right? I mean, he is in everything, and he's synonymous with Marvel, so you got to have him. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Like,
I think you do. I
mean, can we just do a picture? Can we just put him in a background? So I just hope this isn't going to be, when I first saw this headline, I'm like, okay, are we going to do the Princess Leia thing of the last Star Wars, where we're going to literally redigitize or like reuse footage and repurpose it for this, just so we can get him to be in some random 1 second cameo in Thor 4? Like, it's just, is it really worth it? I mean, the term is rest in peace. Let the man rest in peace. Like, yeah. John, what do you think of this?
I don't look favorable upon it. I mean, they already kind of turned his Twitter into like an advertising campaign. Like, boy, I don't know. It just feels so like tasteless. Like, you know, the guy worked hard, did his part. Like, you know, yeah, it's good to remember him, but you really want to remember him by advertising, like, you know, 20% off Marvel, you know, cup holders or whatever. Like, come on, like, let's let the guy have some dignity.
You sure that's not how he wants to be remembered?
I don't know.
Yeah. The CEO of Genius Brands, which is a part of this deal, said, quote, "It really ensures that Stan, through digital technology and archival footage and other forms, will live in the most important venue, the Marvel movies and Disney theme parks." Is that the most important venue? The Marvel movies and Disney theme parks. Yes, we got to make sure we have Stan Lee there for 20 more years. Why not? The article is pretty confusing though, because it does state that it does not necessarily pave the way for like the digitally resurrected cameos, but it does state that the deal gives Marvel permission to use Lee's name, voice, likeness, signature in movies, television projects, as well as to use his images, existing footage, existing audio recordings featuring him. So it's like, well, I guess, I mean, it doesn't say one thing, but I mean, they have all that stuff. So what's stopping them?
I mean, just from the archival footage alone, I was assuming that Marvel has to do some kind of deal like this so that they can use that footage or his name or his voice in any kind of marketing or any type of thing. So from a Marvel perspective, you kind of have to make it happen because he is Marvel, and like he does make a cameo in every movie. So it's like the fans love him too. So I feel like as a Marvel, you have to do it. But again, I agree with you guys. Let the dude kind of, you know, go off into the sunset.
Yeah, and especially because I believe his like last actual like physical cameo that he shot something for was for Endgame. Just with the timing of
Perfect.
filming and that's the perfect way to go out. Like this culmination of all that of all those films. Sure, there's more now, and we're setting up another phase and this and that, but like that would have been such a way to kind of
He got snapped.
tie it with a bow.
He got snapped. That's it. He's done. Goodbye.
But
oh man.
no, he can
funny.
be action figures, T-shirts. He's gonna be around. It sounds like.
I think there's a distinct difference between having his likeness be a photo as a little tribute in the background or whatever, and
Completely
him
fine with
being like, a robot voice like, "Come buy the Avengers mugs today only," like like that.
Yeah.
There's a really distinct difference between those two, and I can see, like, I don't know what the laws are behind it, but do they need all this permission stuff to have an oil painting in somebody's house in a scene of him? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like
maybe.
I feel like they didn't necessarily need to go that far and include everything about him, basically his complete digitized self, just to have small cameos like that. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like it adds up to paying tribute and more of how can we make $1,
The future is just scary overall. I mean, I remember hearing about with Star Wars, with Marvel films, that a lot of these actors now, when they go in, they get these like 3D molds, digital scans of their faces. And then I guess Disney just has them now. And it's just like, well, what does that mean? Does that mean 20, 30 years from now, when whatever we want Harrison Ford in Star Wars episode 27, it's like, okay, well, here he is. We got him. It's just like, ugh, I don't like that. Like, but
yeah, that's scary, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, talking a little bit about Disney, let's check out their streaming service, Disney Plus. We're going to talk about the ad tier of this service. We got a little bit more info on the ad-supported plan that will go live later this year. According to Variety in the Wall Street Journal, it will reportedly run only 4 minutes of ads on programs that are an hour or less. So for an hour, just 4 minutes of ads in that hour. Peacock does about supposedly 5. HBO Max, their ad tier does 4 as well. So it's in line with other companies. These ads, though, will have no ads of adult themes or anything related to alcohol and politics, plus nothing from, of course, their entertainment competitors. Kyle, does that sound interesting to you? Did you think there was going to be more ads, or, just 4 minutes? That's all we got in an hour.
Well, here's the thing with any kind of ads or anything. I feel like when they're testing out something, they set the limit initially, and then it eventually always works its way back. And then it's like, wait, I feel like and it happens over time. It's just that, wait, I feel like these commercials are getting longer now. I mean, it wouldn't be a surprise me if this is all cyclical, and in 40 years time, we're back to 20 minutes worth of commercials.
40 years. I don't know if we're still on the podcast 40 years coming. If I'm watching Disney Plus for this thing 40 years from now.
I'm just saying, where like ads are on streaming services, it's just TV, over the internet at this point again. It's all the same. I just feel like it's just going to work its way back to that.
It also depends on what ads we are seeing, because I know when I had the Hulu ad program, it was the same 4 ads every break. Like,
now you're gonna get a 20
quick
minutes.
check summer sub days. That's what we had every single break, 4 times in a row. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what ads they choose. But here's the most interesting wrinkle of this: Disney plans on removing ads from all shows if it's being used by a kid's profile. Plus, there's going to be no ads whatsoever on programs geared to a preschool audience, no matter what plan you have. The most interesting thing for me of all this is that first thing I said here. So no ads if you're using a kid's profile.
But is there a rating limit? So it only goes up to a certain rating. So you can't be a child, but also watching like Deadpool.
That's what I'm really curious about, because I would, I mean, is Obi-Wan Kenobi? I know it's marketed as a TV 14, but is that a part of the kids' profile? Because I know a lot of kids love Marvel and love Star Wars. So, like, what's stopping somebody from watching it on a kid's account other than if they take some of the programming away? I don't believe right now Deadpool's even on Disney Plus, and at least in America.
I was just giving
I know
a
an
random
example,
example.
but like, I can still watch any of their other programs on my
Moon
kid's
Knight.
profile.
Could you watch Moon Knight or Moon Knight mature?
I believe it's also a TV 14. I believe right now everything they have, they kind of make it that PG 13, TV 14 rating, but it's just it's like, it seems like, what's the catch here? Like, what's stopping John from watching everything on his profile age 8 and up? I don't know.
And now they're showing, this might be a stupid question, they're showing ads for TV. How are they doing that for movies? Are they doing ads for movies?
The article wasn't specific. It just said 4 minutes for an hour program or less, and they included movie and TV in that program thing. But how many movies are under an hour or less at this point in our lives? But I would assume maybe it's just 4 minutes per hour. I don't know if it's at the beginning, because I think with Peacock it's like mostly in the beginning, but then they randomly cut them in throughout the point. But the majority are in the first bit. I don't know how they're going to do it. I believe on stuff like for HBO Max, the HBO programs, they don't just like insert them in. Like, you watch them in the beginning, so you're not watching The Sopranos, and then halfway through they're gonna show them whatever, buy a Volvo, and it's just
So now can you does it disable the fast forward feature, I'm guessing?
Probably. The other day I was watching Paramount Plus ad free plan, and I'm trying to skip past their programming that they're trying to promote, whatever, the challenge, and it's like, okay, I don't want this. Oh, you can't fast forward. It's like, but this is an ad. It's an ad for your company. But
I saw reports of the Peacock ad free having ads.
Yeah.
So great world.
Yeah. Well, well, this isn't the only thing that Disney Plus and some other services are adding to protect viewers. It's actually a bit of a down note. We don't often discuss real world events, but coincidentally, both shows we are discussing this week share an opening scene that warranted a disclaimer after the devastating events at the Robb Elementary School in Texas. At first, Disney Plus didn't have anything over Obi-Wan Kenobi, but after outcry on social media, a message was added. Quote, although this fictional series is a continuation of the story from Star Wars movies filmed many years ago, some scenes may be upsetting to viewers in light of the recent tragic events. This is actually only visible on the details page. It's not at the top of the program if you were just watching it as a disclaimer. But Netflix did add it at the top of the program for Stranger Things. Right at the top, it says, quote, we filmed this season of Stranger Things a year ago, but given the recent tragic shooting at the school in Texas, viewers may find the opening scene of episode 1 distressing. We are deeply saddened by this unspeakable violence, and our hearts go out to every family mourning a loved one. Yeah, it's, again, we don't talk about, real life, serious stuff on the podcast, but I thought it was interesting. I mean, for both these programs to not only include this, but also to include this disclaimer on their streaming service. I mean, both mentioned that, filming took place years ago, but I mean, it still doesn't change the fact that unfortunately these violent events continue to happen, just every day.
Yeah, I'm wondering, are they doing it to like save their own butts, to like, oh, we have violence in the show, like this is our way of protecting ourselves, but also, or is it just like, hey, watch out? Like, I mean, Dave, violence is everywhere in our media. So I don't know how you can get away from it unless this is like,
I think it was just the type of violence, because with both series, it dealt specifically with kids, and in a way, it was a Jedi training school. So it's just, just for a few days after, it probably was hit too close to home. And these shows are supposed to be meant as an escape, to enjoy. But yeah, both shows feature a scene with that. Both shows have those warnings. Not a great transition, but we will now talk about those shows. In order to talk about them, we have to go back. So guys, send us back.
In time. I'm back, baby. Gotta get back in time.
All right, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series premiere, part 1. It dropped on May 27th. 10 years after the events of Star Wars Episode 3, Obi-Wan Kenobi is in hiding on the planet Tatooine, watching over Anakin's son Luke, when he's called on a mission to rescue Anakin's daughter, Leia, after she is kidnapped by the Galactic Empire's Jedi-hunting Inquisitors in a plot to draw Kenobi out. All right, we all saw the premiere. Let's start off with Kyle. What did you think of Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I was interested. I felt like the little descriptor, the preview before the show really got me into it, got me back into the world. It was a timeline that I knew where I was at, and so that made it very accessible. And I like Ewan McGregor, and it had similar elements to some of the other shows that we've watched with Disney Plus, but I think I'm interested in the material enough to keep going. But some like graphic stuff, like the video effects in some places was hit or miss for me, but overall, I thought it was okay. It was a good enough to keep me involved.
Yeah, I hear you. You mentioned that recap in the beginning. I love this because I think Marvel needs to do this on all their shows.
Yes.
Give me a recap of what I'm supposed to know. I don't need to do all this homework. I don't want to rewatch the prequels.
Yeah.
But you summed it up for me. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, you gave me everything I need. I will say, real quick nitpick before I get into the show. So I, again, didn't remember much of the prequels, but the idea is, Luke and Leia need to go into hiding so no one can find them or whatever. So they split them apart. Leia goes over here. Luke, they're like, well, where do we go? Where do we send him where they can't find him? Where? How about his family? Great idea. Perfect. Let's bring him there. Nobody will ever think to look for his uncle's house.
Yeah.
But all right. Before I get too far into it, John, what did you think of Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I agree. I think that the premise is pretty strong. I really liked, like Kyle was saying, that it's grounded in the Star Wars movies that we all know and depending on which one, enjoyed. And that initial recap really sets the scene and puts your perspective right exactly where it needs to be to pick this up, and it fills in a part of a rather large chunk of Star Wars history just from the movies that is glossed over. I mean, you end episode 3 and you start episode 4, and it's 20 something years or however old Luke is. So it definitely is adding some, I guess, and Leia too, adding some context to the world, and I know that there had been rumblings of fans wanting this for years now. So it's nice to see that it's finally it's finally here. Like people listen to fans and recognize that, oh yeah, it's a good idea. Let's do this. So I like that, and I think so far the execution has been mediocre, but I think it has room to grow into something that is pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely hear you. Of the 3 Star Wars shows we've gotten, I think so far for Disney Plus, I think I may be the most into this one. Definitely better than the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah,
that was just a mess. And I think, and compare it to, maybe it's the star power, maybe it's the charisma of Ewan McGregor versus whoever the guy was in Boba Fett. We talked about it like early. That's your lead of a show, but yeah, I mean, we have him here. You mentioned the CGI. some hit or miss. But then you compare it to, I think, some of the other Marvel stuff we've been getting, whether it was Moon Knight, which we are now also seeing for She-Hulk. Like, really, this is far and away better than what we've. You would think it's all the same group, you would think, but
yeah,
there's definitely a big difference between the two. So already just seems more cinematic in that aspect. But
I think the villain too in this one is good. Because I almost forgot where I remembered her from, and it was from the Queen's Gambit, and I'm like, she's playing older here.
Oh, I didn't even.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, oh wait, that's her. And yeah, I just think she's doing a
Nice.
good job so far as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I will say though, of the 3 Star Wars shows, if we're gonna really compare them, can we get off this planet of Tatooine or whatever? It's the same exact town square in all of them. This desert planet. This is a galaxy far, far away or whatever. Go anywhere else, any other world, the underwater world, of the forest where the Ewoks are. Anywhere else, just can we leave the desert? That's all I ask.
It's easy to
please.
shoot, man. It's
I
just
guess.
put a brown rug on the ground and green screen, and we're
They
good
paid
to
for
go.
the set. They already paid for the set. You got to get your money's worth, man.
I
Yeah.
guess. It just seems, and after seeing it so many times, it starts feeling like the Universal backlot. It's like, yeah, this is the place where Back to the Future is filmed, and every single like shot, and whatever, 90s CW show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the same set as Back to the Future. It's like, yeah, like go somewhere else, put a new coat of paint on it. But
you know what else with this show? I mean, the girl that's playing, was it Leia?
Yeah.
Dude, they are asking her to do so much. She's so young, dude. And they've got like whole monologues for her. I'm like, are you serious? What is this?
Yeah. Especially when Luke is not doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Speed racing on. But yeah, as the pilot went on, like I was so ready just the yada yada over, because you like get this thing going, because we know the whole episode is his conundrum. Like, does he come out of being a Jedi, like out of hiding to be? We know what's going to happen. But I was actually surprised, because the trailer made it seem like he was going to be protecting Luke. That was the thing. He's going to be protecting Luke. But it seems like it's going to be, the series is more about saving Leia. Meanwhile, this kidnapped attempt at Leia here, I don't know if we even need a Jedi to save her from this group, because this group is a bunch of bumbling. They're chasing this girl around.
Yeah.
Like, she is going so slow.
She's Usain Bolt, dude.
Yeah, really.
She is speed demon.
And then the big thing that gets in their way, there's a log right in front. Oh,
yeah.
It stops me. Oh, no, I can't go farther. It's just like, you can't jump over that. But what a weird group.
They really did a James Bond chase scene with a 5-year-old.
Yeah. And it's all being led by Flea from the Red Hot Chili
I know.
Peppers.
I know. Oh my God.
But it was all a trap to just lure him out of hiding. I mentioned Flea. Did you also catch who the other Jedi was? I don't know if you're going to catch him because he's more of a behind the scenes guy, but the other Jedi that's trying to get help from Obi-Wan, asking for help, winds up, spoiler alert, dead at the end of the first episode. That was Benny Safdie of the Safdie brothers, Uncut Gems. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, he'll I think he might have been in Licorice Pizza as well. So he's been packed.
Okay.
It's just like, it was like interesting. I'm like, wait a minute, I recognize you. What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. But yeah. Let's see. We had Rojo36, our friend Nick Rojas. He Instagrammed us on all 3 of our shows tonight. So we'll share his thoughts. He's the honorary 4th co-host tonight. For him, Obi-Wan Kenobi was a mixed bag. It hit the nostalgic points, but didn't grip me 100%. I can completely see with that.
Totally understand that.
We are, however, we're going to get some more nostalgia, because we still have yet to see the return of Hayden Christensen as Vader.
Oh
He will
yeah.
be back as Darth Vader. However, it's interesting to know initially it wasn't going to be Vader. There was going to be more Darth Maul in this show.
Dude, I used to love Darth
Yeah?
Maul when he
That was
was
your
like
guy?
a cool villain
The
with the
double
dual
lightsaber?
Yeah. Don't mess with Darth Maul.
Yeah, well, supposedly actor Ray Park was in active prep, but his scenes were cut in a big creative overhaul. Supposedly the scripts were shown to the Mandalorian team, and they were concerned about the show covering similar ground to their show. The whole lone wolf and cub story that, Kenobi comes out of hiding to protect a child.
Oh my god.
This child isn't Baby Yoda, it's Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
So the creators were like, yeah, maybe go a little bit bigger, do something else. So they kind of supposedly retooled it. So maybe that was the idea, that the Kenobi was going to be kind of protecting Luke, but now it's going to, now it's save Leia. Like it's similar but a little different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can understand that, but it has been a while, so I'm hoping whatever that they landed on, it wasn't like just their plan B, and they're actually still like 110% excited.
Yeah.
Beginning, middle, and end of this plan, because if not, it's like, oh well, we wanted to do this, now we were going to do our second choice, but that's what I'm worried about. But any other thoughts? Are you guys going to keep going with Obi-Wan Kenobi, Kyle?
I might dip in and out. I feel like with these weekly shows, I've been like maybe bowing out for a couple of weeks and then watching a few at a time and then coming back. This might be one where I stick around just because I do know more about this timeline of Star Wars. So I am more interested in it.
And so
even though
Baby Yoda there, and I know how much you hate Baby Yoda.
Well, I just don't get Baby Yoda. I mean, if I watch the show,
just
I would
feel Baby Yoda. Just let him.
Okay. His essence, his aura, yeah. But yeah, I might stick around with this one, even though it was very average.
All right, and John?
Yeah, I think I'll stick around and see if they improve their execution. Because like I said, I think the premise is there. I think they just gotta figure out exactly how they're executing and what they want to do with the show. And I'm willing to give it a couple more episodes to see if it can start centering itself.
Definitely hear all you guys on that. I'm kind of mixed still. Maybe jump in, jump out. I don't know. I'm on the fence. It's the Marvel and Star Wars I always have a hard time with, but all right.
Because you're not a true fan, man.
I'm not a true fan. I am, however, into so far Stranger Things season 4, the premiere, chapter 1, The Hellfire Club, also dropped on May 27th. It's been 3 years since we have visited Hawkins, but it's just been 6 months since season 3's The Battle of Starcourt. Struggling with the aftermath, our group of friends are separated for the first time and navigating the complex drama of high school as a new and horrifying supernatural threat surfaces. All right, 5 episodes dropped, mostly focusing on chapter 1, the first one here of season 4. John, what did you think?
Well, slight spoilers. I am still kind of upset with the finale of 3 and how they didn't follow through with killing somebody. Why? I understand he's a beloved part of the show. Grow a pair and just like, if you're gonna kill someone, kill someone. It just seems like such a cop out. But
yeah,
other than that, what? Let me say this: it's not bad. But what are we doing? What is new in here? The kids are dealing with different dynamics of their friendships falling apart and all that. There's evil. There's D&D. It's high school. That's new. But what else? What else changed? I feel like after the first season, they've been chasing that feeling of the first season, and this is just a continuation of that chase, and we're not getting there because season 1 came out of nowhere and was just a lightning bolt, and now it's kind of like someone's sitting out there with a 9-volt and some tinfoil trying to make more lightning. It's not working. It's all right, but it's not great.
Interesting. Yeah. So for me, I definitely, season 1 came along. Yeah. Instant hit. Loved it. Season 1. And I'm like, you know what? This is enough. We don't need any more. Season 2, diminishing returns. Season 3, I don't think liked. I really did not care much for season 3. For some reason, I don't know if it's just been the time away, but I've been liking season 4 so far. I've actually seen 3 episodes so far of this new season. And to me, it doesn't feel too much of the sequel-itis because I think the first 3 seasons, I could be wrong, but it was like Mind Flayer, Demogorgon, or whatever the names were of these super villains or whatever. At least right now, it seems like this new villain, while in the world of the Upside Down, is new. It seems like a new mystery around it, different motive, different reasoning. Like there's something just feels different with this creature. And at least now the group is split up across the country. Unlike other seasons, 11 is without her powers. So it's like, okay, well, you know, they have some, they don't have all their tools that they used to have in their arsenal to take on the usual threat. It's a different threat. So right now, I'm into this season compared to I think the last 2 seasons, but I can definitely see what you're saying because yeah, I mean we're still in the 80s. It's the the D&D, it's the same characters, maybe with a few additions, but yeah. Before I go too far down that, Kyle, what have you thought so far season 4?
I was just so on the first episode. I've seen a little bit of episode 2 and I like it a bit more. I think I kind of agree with both of you, and I mean
pick a side.
Like I get everything that John is saying, because I think if you're not into these characters, you're not gonna be in the show. I mean, an hour and 10 minutes, 18 minutes or whatever the first episode was, and it's a lot of just unpacking their relationships, and if you're not with that, it's gonna be a long ride. And so I will say they transport you right back into the 80s. So if you want that nostalgic fix, it will definitely give you that. I feel like they always do good with production element wise, so that they're good there. It's just like, are those characters enough to sustain you? Is there enough meat there to wanna
I don't like the characters, get out of here.
Yeah. Basically. But yeah, I mean, I didn't think the first episode was that great because I'm like, all right, let's get to it.
Yeah, I will admit it took a while going. Maybe because I've seen 3 at this point, I know more of the mystery of the season and where we're going. But yeah, that first one, it's like half the episode was them trying to find a D&D partner, to fill in for Lucas.
Yeah, and it's just like, come on, get to it. Especially with how long these episodes are, it's like, come on, I want, like, let's get to the point here. And also, I found the nerd who's also like cool, him to be annoying. The Eddie, I think is his character.
Oh, the head of the D&D club.
Yeah, I found him to be
Hellfire Club.
Yeah, super annoying.
Well, we'll talk about him in a little bit. We've had this image of the new villain here, Voldemort 2.0, mixed with Doc Ock or whatever. I don't even know. I will say, because we're seeing a lot of him, and that's I think very specific to where the show is now with their budget. Because season 1, we didn't really see much until it was the Jaws effect. You don't see much because they didn't have the money to show much. Now we have the money, so we're going to show as much of him as humanly possible. We briefly talked about it before, but it's rumored that this season, per episode, cost $30 million.
That's
per
crazy.
Episode. Game of Thrones final season was half that an episode, $15 million an episode, and they had dragons and in a different world,
landscapes and entire sets. Yeah, that's crazy.
That is insane.
So they're gonna do a lot with these. Hopefully, with this 30 million. I mean, I know it's the amount of sets in the first episode, just in a montage they were doing, the cinematography with the cheerleading sequence. They're embellishing anything they can because they got to show what they spent 30 million on.
Yeah, I mean 30 million. I mean, they're making movies. They're making like That's a budget of a movie in like the 80s or 90s, you know, and that's a movie.
Probably was the budget of Ghostbusters that they made fun of in the second, you know, like
it's crazy.
But maybe they're also paying for all these new characters. We got Jonathan's weed friend Argyle.
Yeah.
We got the Hellfire Club leader Eddie Munson, I believe. We have a bunch of new people. Anyone that stood out to you? I know Kyle hates Eddie so far. John, do you have any favorites, least favorites?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of him either. I don't know. I want to see how they develop a bit more, but yeah, so far I understand their roles, except for maybe the weed guy. But I mean, I guess you don't have to like a character for them to serve a purpose in a story and to do their part well, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's not looking good for Eddie. So I mean,
yeah.
At the end of this year, we had the head cheerleader in his house get lifted to the ceiling, possessed, snap, eyes burst out of her skull. So doesn't look great for him where he's at right now. But I also thought at the same time, will the police really like blame him? I mean, like, you guys live in Hawkins. You know some weird stuff goes down. Like, is it really his fault? Like, how did he possibly do this? But yeah, it doesn't look good on paper. At least at the end of the episode for Eddie.
Yeah. I mean, that whole the thing that really annoyed me was the scene in the woods where he's like talking and he's like talking about how he plays like the instruments and stuff. I'm like, oh, so you went from nerdy man to now you're going to cool man for the cheerleader. What is this?
Yeah.
What is this?
High school, man. You reinvent yourself.
High school reinvent you. Yeah.
But we were talking about characters, new characters, the return of characters, and this is what John was talking about. I'm also still annoyed with the fake out death of Hopper. Of course, he was going to be in the show. He's the lead of the show. I mean, I guess one of the leads, at least for the adults. And I just thought what they did is just like, it's such a fake out at the end of season 3. And so far, it's like, what are we doing with him? He's captive in a Russian prison. You know, Joyce gets this Russian package and a letter that Hopper is still alive. I just don't like.
There's no consequences.
Yeah.
What does it mean if there's no stakes and no consequences?
Yeah.
If everyone is going to come out at the end every time on top, then all right, good guys win. We're done. Like, you know,
poor Barb. She was the one that her death was final.
Yeah.
And Samwise. Well, I forget his name in the show, or in real life too.
Oh, I know you're talking about
Sean Astin.
Yeah. He didn't make it either.
But yeah, it's like, I mean, light spoiler. By the end of episode 3, the Joyce, Hopper, all this stuff, they're still separated. Like, they're still, and it's just like, how long is this gonna take to get them together? And like, it's just, I don't know. Just give me back to Hawkins. Give me to that mystery. I'd rather be with those characters than Russian
for sure
prison. Okay, but I mentioned the kids. I will say, I don't know if you guys were as much as I was distracted a little bit, maybe, of how much they've grown.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, they're going off to college. They are.
I don't know. They're approaching middle age. Why
do they still have such bad haircuts?
I think it's just like to disguise.
I'm
trying to make them look young a little bit still. It's like, but man, Will with that bowl cut just is not.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest like comparison from season 1 to now.
Yeah. I mean, that talk about something that didn't survive. His haircut's horrible.
Meanwhile, Lucas grew
and also
6 feet tall here.
Before we move on, Will, what is his purpose in the show so far now?
To be a weenie.
Yeah, he literally has zero purpose right now.
The issue is, this is like the exact thing. This reminded me to compare to The Hangover. Doug, Hangover 1, he's a part of the gang, but he's not. He's off on his own. You don't worry about him. It's all about Lucas and Mike and Dustin. That's the group. So then in season 2, when it becomes a success, it's like, well, we can't just have Will go off again. Like, I guess he's part of the group. And it's like, did we really ever do a chemistry test between this group of friends? Like, does it actually work? yeah, I don't know what he's really there for, but
Yeah.
But
you mentioned Lucas.
Yeah.
Lucas, yeah, looks like a grown man, dude.
Yeah.
He's the star of the basketball team, which is causing some conflicts with the D&D group. It's just like it's causing this big riff, and I just love the one point where it's like, well, have him move his D&D thing. It's like, well, how about you move the game? It's like, this is the
Yeah.
championship game with people commuting in. You got hundreds of people, the cheerleaders, and this and that. And I'm probably sure maybe even some local media. Move his little D&D like 5-person thing to the next night, or push it an hour. Come on. But
that's not the point he was making,
know,
dude.
I know. But I don't know, still to come. We definitely are going to have something involved with that opening scene we kind of mentioned earlier with 11, because I feel like it's going to be, is 11 actually bad or evil or twisted in some way? I mean, we saw this. I mean, we never saw her actually do it, so we don't. I mean, will it be this fake out at the end of the season where she was actually saving somebody and it just looks like she did this destruction?
Yeah.
But I don't know. The show is at least, I think, setting us up to believe that she is maybe has a little bit of an evil in her. Yeah. So,
which do you think? I don't think this show, they can't kill Hopper. You think they're gonna make her evil? Get out of here.
No, I saw something that Millie Bobby Brown was like in an article. It's like, yeah, it'd be great if our, like, we kind of kill some people off. And I think she meant like as a, like, not only if we're going to make bigger stakes on the show, but also like get some people out of these contracts.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure this is like first position for them and they have to do this whenever the show comes back. It's like, it's a big show, but it's like, all right, I want to go do movies now.
Yeah.
But, all right. Another thing that I think is going to happen, and I guess I'll say spoiler alert, even though the spoiler alert is from Netflix again. This is my concern that I had with Ozark. The still for the season, when you stop and pause an episode or start the next episode, is Max floating, going up into the air, just like the cheerleader character. And again, it goes back to what John's saying. Are we really going to... She's one of the main people. Are we really going to lose her? But it seems like she's at least going to be tied into this. And I guess that's a spoiler because it's just, why you pick any other thing from the show? Pick something from episode 1. Why show this?
Grab a screenshot of everyone together as just like a group shot, like anything, anything that's not this.
Yeah. You would think Netflix would be a little bit more hesitant with these spoilers, especially after... I'm sure we all saw the article. The creators, the Duffer Brothers, had a, quote, total meltdown after photos of the cards from the Monopoly tie-in board game revealed crucial plot elements from the season before it was even released. This Monopoly tie-in game revealed what happens in season 4. And yeah, they're rightfully angry. It's like, they spend years making this, and then you just tweeted it out, like, but...
Oh man,
this is exactly, I don't know if you remember with Grogu, Baby Yoda in Mandalorian. The reason why there wasn't a toy that Christmas is because Jon Favreau was like, I'm keeping this thing a secret. If this thing drops in September, they have to already start making the toys in like July. This will get out, and I don't want it to get out. I want it to be a surprise for the show. And sure, it cost them money that Christmas, but it was probably a bigger surprise overall. So but, the last thing I will say about Stranger Things, Kyle mentioned it, the runtimes. These episodes are a little long, 75 minutes or longer, and for me, I just want to like savor and enjoy these, but I also at the same time feel pressure to finish now. Because literally Friday night, when I looked up a season 3 recap to watch on YouTube, there was already videos online explaining all the events of season 4. And it's just like, this thing just came out. Can you give me a minute to watch these? Like, especially episode 9, 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. It's longer than Top Gun. We watched Top Gun today.
This is just a plea from Dave. Do you hear it in his voice?
I want my life back.
Yeah.
Because I really think though Netflix should have really tried like a weekly release with this, because it's like they dropped 5 episodes or $150 million production just one day. And it's like, sure, this will be number 1 this week and probably next week as well. But 2 weeks from now, a month from now, will it be?
Everyone is now just asking everyone what episode they're on, right? Yeah. And so that happens for the next couple of weeks. And then eventually no one can talk about it because no one's finished it. And then by the time everyone has finished it, it's out of the zeitgeist.
Yeah. Volume 2 is around. And then, now we're waiting our 3 years before season 5. And but
on top of that, too, I don't know if this is true, but in my mind, it seems like they staggered the episodes to try and keep those subscriptions for another month or so. How is
it's definitely different quarters? Different quarters. Yeah.
So why would you not do weekly when you can stretch it even further? I don't know. It just seems like a weird way to do it. You just throw them all on the table and then wait and throw the rest. Like just pace them out. It was cool when the first season dropped and we got to binge it all. And like I said, the flash in the pan. That's not what this is. This is not a lightning strike. This is different. It should be treated differently,
Yeah. Just imagine a Friday night movie. You're going on. Oh, it's Friday night. A new episode of Stranger Things. All right. What movie am I watching this week? And but instead it's like, nope. Some people finished it by 3:00 on Friday afternoon, and then now they're done until July. It's just like, yeah. It's just. But some people are ready for more. At Rojo 36, the episodes could have been 3 hours each, and I still loved it. Can't wait for volume 2. So he's ready.
Yeah, I know some people on Twitter have been loving it, but I also see a lot of, I haven't made it to that episode yet. Wait, what episode? It's just like
Spoilers
a lot of that
are out there. You gotta be careful now. You gotta either devote a day to it or just get off the internet. All right. Well, we devoted our day to our next film. Kyle and I just saw it in IMAX, Top Gun Maverick. It also dropped this weekend, May 27th. What a weekend we had. After more than 30 years of service as one of Navy's top aviators, Pete Mitchell, aka Maverick, is back at Top Gun, this time as an instructor to a new generation of pilots, including the son of his former partner, Goose. All right, Kyle and I saw it. What did you think? Top Gun Maverick.
I mean, it was good to be back. It was good to see it in IMAX, even though they had a giant bug on the screen. I think
it was on the projector, but it was like a little fuzzy.
I love how they have a big giant ad right before you watch IMAX movie, and it's like, see it like never before in the best resolution, the best sound, the best this or that. And I'm like, I wanted to be at the end. I wanted to be like, there is a bug on the screen. Is it the best bug?
Where's Nicole Kidman? Heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
Yeah, with that bug in the. Anyways, so Top Gun, the movie. Yes. Good to be back. Tom Cruise is a certified movie star. I thought they had a good cast. The characters were kind of a cliche, a lot of cliche dialogue, but the action is cool, and I'm in the world and I'm about it. Now somebody could say they thought it was the cheesiest thing of all time, and they're not wrong, but I was digging it. So what's wrong with that?
I hear you. It was just good to have a non-Marvel blockbuster in the movie theater, seeing it in IMAX, big screen, popcorn, soda, like, get out of the heat of the summer sun and the AC. Like, this is what, movies, and seeing it on the big screen with the engines revving, the seats shaking, and compared to the first one, which I watched the other night, it was like night and day. The first one, like close-up shots of the cockpit that you don't even know, where are they actually? Like, is this just a backdrop that they're in front of? But this one, it's like we're in the plane with Tom Cruise. We're flying upside down. It's so much wider. We're seeing everything, and it just makes me wonder, because we know Cruise is flying these planes. We know it, but like we heard all the stories. He's actually doing this, so it makes me real curious. Like, how did they like do the others? I mean, I'm sure they're not flying the planes. Like, did we just have another pilot and they're sitting shotgun? Like,
yeah,
it looked really like just like Tom's. So I'm really curious of how they faked it, because it didn't really
they
look
probably
CG,
had him in the back and somehow are able to, crop it and fit it together somehow. I'm gotta imagine.
But yeah, Nick also said it was a perfect summer blockbuster. As always, practical is greater than CGI. And yeah, you definitely had those, those action moments and the big screen spectacle of it all.
Yeah.
It definitely felt like a sequel to Top Gun. They definitely had some homages to the first one. They had the long 80s title intro with the black screen, the white text, the same music and everything. Even the closing credits that looked like Too Many Cooks, with all the this is who, this is this person, that's that person. It's just, but I think the thing Kyle really wants to talk about, the shirtless beach sport of this time, spoiler, wasn't volleyball.
Yeah, it was football.
A game of football.
Yeah.
All right, what did you think, Kyle? You were excited.
Why are you? I was excited. I mean, I guess, I don't know. You know what I am upset about with that scene, though? I thought we could have had a better song. I thought it was a bad song choice for that scene. But everything else, yeah, we're building a team, John Hamm. Get with it. All right.
John Hamm completely playing the heel in this film of just just let Maverick do his thing. He's the best, But
yeah, everyone is against Maverick. It's Ed Harris's character, John Hamm.
That's like every movie. Every movie's like, Ethan Hunt, you can't do this. We don't. It's like, how many times? Like, it's getting really hard to distinguish when you're watching these films. Tom Cruise, Maverick, Ethan Hunt, they're all the same person. Like, literally in the beginning of the film, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess Ethan Hunt's flying planes now. I'm like, okay. Like, I just went with it. I don't see the difference between those characters. But yeah, you mentioned the song. I will say, where they did this too much in the 86 version, but we should have had do take my breath away. We should have had that at some point, because they played it like 600 times in the first one. We couldn't get it once in this new film, even as just like a joke, as somebody's ringtone. Come on. But yeah. I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, as you mentioned, Kyle, it was a lot of fun, but I wouldn't also be surprised if people found some points like cheesy and, the dialogue. It has the classic action movie beats, but it was still like a fun, movie.
Yeah. Classic action movie beats, classic action movie, like characters, expositional dialogue out the wazoo, where he's like coming into the bar. And he's like, oh, Amelia. And then he meets like, the daughter or whatever, and says the daughter, like, oh, the daughter's there. And I'm like, all right, we get it. You're introducing another character the same exact way, but I don't care, man. It was fun.
Yeah.
It's always cool to fly in.
You felt the need for
like
speed.
Yeah, I did feel the need for speed. And I love how the villains are all just in black. They're shaded.
You never know what country they're actually supposed to be.
Yeah, it's just like some fictitious,
One thing I actually really liked with this, like the update from the original. The original, if you're actually like watching, it was like so much like these training sessions. They're all trying for this like trophy, and it was like kind of like what's important about this? Like, what are we actually doing this for? But this film, I felt, was very clear. This is the plan. This is the mission we're going on, and we after that all happens, it almost also becomes a little bit of like a heist film, a little bit of a Mission Impossible, where we have like Maverick and Rooster, together trying to, they have to go into an enemy aircraft, and they have to, it's just like, just smile and wave. And like, it was very like Mission Impossible comedic, action. And I thought that was a great update. And also like made sense. I mean, we knew going into this, like we were going to have scenes with Rooster and Maverick just because of this kind of father-son bond that, they kind of have now. And you knew they were going to be in the same plane at some point. You knew he was going to be in the back. There would be some kind of eject moment. But I really like the scene of them in the woods where it's like, I saved your life. I saved your life. What were you thinking? You told me not to think. Like, it was like this whole,
that was a good one,
back and forth. But yeah, overall, I think it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it's worth it to go see it in the theaters.
Yeah. And a lot of people did. I'll mention good news for you, John. Biggest opening
John.
for Tom Cruise ever. His first weekend over $100 million, and it made $124 million over 3 days, and then it had the Memorial Day record of $156 million over the 4 days.
Wow!
It also helped that it actually opened in the most theaters of all time. There was 4,732 theaters that showed it, which is 7 more than the previous one, 2019's Lion King. So it was in a lot of theaters. Big holiday weekend. And this will also help you, John. Tom Cruise did his thing. Paramount Pictures has been doing the 45 days in theaters, and then it goes to streaming, shortened window. Cruise was like, no, you're not doing that with this. 120 days. That's it. It's going to be in theaters, and then the normal, then it'll go to streaming after all that. So it's going to be in theaters for a bit here. Doesn't really have, I don't think, much competition, at least for a couple of weeks. So,
wow, John's going to be raking in that cash. Was that your number one selection?
I think it was.
I think it was.
Yeah.
So
they just have to show it over 70 times a day, and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
They might have done that today at Lincoln's, because like we weren't allowed into our theater until 5 minutes before.
We weren't allowed into the theater, and they already had previews basically going by the time that.
Wow. So I think they like maybe added a show or something to squeeze it in, because it probably was a big weekend. But all right. We don't have any time, but we're gonna do it anyways. We're gonna squeeze in just some little mini reviews, a little quick check. We're going from one action film to another. Kyle, what do you got?
I watched Ambulance. I remember seeing the trailer thinking, how does this happen in this movie? And Michael Bay is the reason it happens in a movie. The action in this movie is pretty intense. Every line of dialogue stinks. It's so bad. It's so bad. I would even say like the production elements are good, but they're really not. I like got nauseous from some of the camera work, because they had like a drone going around like a scene, like a conversation scene between two characters that was a little insane. But I will say this movie is manic. We got Jake Gyllenhaal in this situation where he's like holding this job over his brothers, who's played by the Yahya Abdul-Mateen dude. It is all over the place. I would say watch it for the action only and know what you're getting into with Michael Bay. All right. Good luck.
I will say the some of the stuff I saw with the trailer, like some of the, because I think they use a lot of drone stuff of going in, explosions and like following probably the ambulance around. Probably would have
very fun.
Got me seasick in the theater, but seems pretty cool though, at least in parts. I don't know if I could do 2 hours or whatever it is of it, but
it is. You just have to, make it between those parts to really enjoy.
Yeah. When we didn't get the hardcore Henry cut where you have the 3D glasses.
I remember that. Yeah. I remember watching that. Yeah. Whatever happened to that? But all right. Ambulance. We have a mixed review from Kyle, I would say. Yeah. I think we have I just realized something. I didn't check ahead of time if Kyle had watched this. I really hope he caught up with this. If not, we'll see, because it's going to be a big spoiler. John, what do you have?
Breaking Bad. The Better Call Saul.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank God. All right. Yeah, so the mid-season finale, plan and execution. I'll see myself out. You guys can discuss what all went down.
Sure. So yeah, mid-season finale. Holy cow. I had seen a tweet from one of the showrunners, I believe, saying that they didn't film it as a traditional mid-season finale and not to expect like a cliffhanger or anything, and then they throw the biggest cliffhanger they could at us. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of hoping that we would get half a season of Saul and half a season of Gene. Doesn't look like that's going to happen, but I'm not upset that we're not getting it because the Saul story is just so good and there's so many questions left unanswered still. But yeah, we're getting into some crazy territory here. Like just the fallout from the end of the finale.
Yeah,
how is anyone going to get out of that situation? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, because it's in their apartment
and there's blood everywhere.
Yeah,
and it's just like how? Even, I mean, all right, spoilers obviously, but even if they get out of there okay, and Lalo leaves, they still have a body on the floor and blood everywhere. It's just and they continue to go above and beyond with the cinematography and all that. I mean, just the shot of their planning board getting splattered in blood, or I think even Ray Seahorn directed an episode or so, and they're just brilliant cinematography, and it was just great. The show is, I mean, to me, it's still the best thing on TV. Without a doubt.
Yeah, I forget how good this show is, and then I watch it, and I just like fall effortlessly. Just watch it; it's so easy. It's fun to watch. And the other thing that we have to think about with that body is they have a whole plan set up for Harry Hamlin's demise on their board, and they have nothing to do with the dead body, but that it's, how does it not look like they meant to
not only that
sabotage him?
But the last couple things he said was, Saul setting me up. Saul setting me up.
Yeah.
Who's the first person they're going to knock on the door about?
Yeah.
It's just, and he told his wife.
Oh, man.
And it's just like everybody that he has a close relationship knows that, Saul is the one that he at least thinks is all his troubles. There's no way no one's not going to come knocking. So, I don't know. How we transition from this into the Saul and Breaking Bad. I mean, I could see where we're going, but there's also still so much that I'm like,
I know. I'm really
how does this connect? How does that connect? And I've even been watching some of the behind the scenes stuff from like previous seasons, and there's so much that I already like not forgot, but like you don't think about because of all the actions happening now. And I can't wait to rewatch that and we rewatch Breaking Bad. And from what I understand, this, and we've already kind of seen it, is supposed to kind of recontextualize some stuff about Breaking Bad. And I don't know. I sincerely hope that, I know it's going to be great. I hope that they continue this environment and maybe find another person that they can do another show on, because they have something magical. And if they keep going in this direction, even if it's not as good as Saul, which I think is better than Breaking Bad, it's still going to be something pretty dang good in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I have high hopes. We just got to spend some time sitting and waiting now. Like my Monday nights are just, there's nothing to do. I sat there last night doing nothing. I was like, oh no.
Nothing to do. We do podcasts on Monday
There's
nights.
nothing to do Mondays. Nothing to do.
Come on. Well, sounds like you guys are mixed on it and go either way. I can't
Yeah.
really tell if you like
I would
it or not.
say that mixed. Yeah.
But all right, I'm going to talk about Survivor 42, the finale. I probably won't really spoil who won and who lost and all that stuff, but I'll talk about broad strokes of what went down in this new era, 41, 42, this new era of Survivor. They filmed these back to back so they could kind of use the same tricks and advantages, and boy, did they. It was basically a carbon copy structure-wise of 41, but they may have learned from their mistakes in the first go-around and the edit, and the cast, I feel like the cast in 42 probably gelled a bit better, and I like them more than the cast of 41. So probably overall, I would like this season better than the previous. However, a bunch of the changes they made from, 1 through 40 versus 41 and 42, not really loving still. Maybe it's just I'm such a purist, but it was 39 days. Now it's 26 days. Fine. I don't really care about the actual days because you can't really see the difference on the TV. It's just they're making it too crazy and hard to compensate for this, whether it's just the conditions that they're giving them or just the amount of advantages. They're just adding so much, and I just always keep going back. Just trust your cast. Just trust them as personalities. You casted them for a reason. Stop meddling in the game. Like there were so many advantages that this season that they completely edited around one that we didn't even know the star player had until that season was over. They had an advantage. We didn't even know about it because there's just so many advantages. They just not enough time to concentrate on all of them. And there's one called the knowledge is power, where it's basically in a game of lies and deceit. You can't lie, and you must give up your idol if you are asked about it. And it's just like, what are we doing? The do or die twist, which is literally, let's make a deal. Choose box A, you're safe. Box B, you are sent home. And it's just the best tribal of the entire season was only because she happened to pick box A and was safe. If she would have went home, tribal's over. We go, that's it. We got our elimination this week. Instead, because of that, she was safe. And the amount of backstabbing and trickery that immediately followed that was marvelous. Like it's just trust your cast, let them do their thing. And my final thing was 41-42. They had the votes read live on the island. They didn't do that. Since season 1, Borneo, the very first one, they did it this time because they were unsure about the live reunion in the US because of COVID. I mean, these were shot in early 2021, so they didn't know what the world was going to be, post, if there was a vaccine and who was going to get it and all that stuff. But it sounds like they're never going back to live shows, at least for the foreseeable future, probably because the production saw, hey, we saved a bit of money on this. Do we really want to spend that money again with a live show? But to me, they do like an after show immediately after the winners revealed there, and it just doesn't work. I mean, you have the final 3 there, hungry, tired, like nobody on the entire cast has seen a second of the show to share what we didn't see or what were the big moments, because like you don't know what clicked outside because you've been in this bubble the whole time. Meanwhile, Jeff does this just annoying thing. This is my nitpick. The thing ends. It's like, okay, pizza, champagne. Let's discuss. Let's break this down. You don't need to give them pizza because, first of all, as podcasters, we know there's nothing worse than chewing and talking. And now we're seeing this with them. But the people eating the most pizza, it's the jury that just left a pretty much resort. It's like, if anyone should be eating, it's the final 3 who've been in the game this whole time. Instead, we're seeing them eat the pizza, talk about stuff that it's just, so I have some nitpicks still with the show. At the end of the day, though, Survivor, I still love the show. There's still so many great moments. The back, the blind sides, the cast and the situation. Because even though it was a lot of things, advantage and structure wise, that was similar to 41, you put different people in there, different outcomes, and it's just it's really cool to see kind of this social experiment go down. But all right, that is all we got for this week. A big show, a lot of pop culture happened in the last week or two. And next week, we got some more stuff as well. The Boys, Season 3. It's finally back. We're going to talk about the premiere of Season 3. If it's been a while and you need a refresher, don't worry. We did a clip show. We've covered technically every episode of The Boys, Season 1 and 2. So about a week ago, we released a clip show compiling all of our coverage so you can watch it, just get caught up, a little refresher. Or if you've never seen The Boys, you can watch it along with us because it's like in batches. So you can watch 3 episodes, listen to our discussion, 3 episodes, our discussion. So it could be a cool way to catch up for Season 3, which returns later this week. You can find episodes of the podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the blog, dualredundancy.com. We are live Monday nights, twitch.tv/dualredundancy, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Dual Redundancy. Got to shout out Nick for all those comments and reviews. Thank you, Nick. And I got to thank both of you guys for joining me tonight on a holiday. For Kyle going to the movies with me today, IMAX screening.
Yeah.
For John for directing the show, putting it up on Apple Podcasts and YouTube. I couldn't do it without you guys.
Yeah, man.
You guys are my wingmen. Where you say, no, you're my wingman. That's how the movie ended in '86.
No.
Anytime now.
No, I'm
Okay.
they call me the hangman.
Oh, okay. And I'm Bob. Actually, I'll see if I can do this live right before we end. We're already over tonight. On my Instagram, I posted a picture of Kyle and I asked, are we Maverick and Goose or more like Maverick and Bob? And we'll see what the results are live on the podcast. Maverick and Bob. So I am the Bob to Kyle's Maverick.
Okay.
There we go. That's our lead right now. Until next time, I'm David Allen.
I'm John Berwick.
And I'm Kyle Bridger.
And that's all we got for Dual Redundancy. Goodbye, everybody.